T days. I was going to rush the introductions, but Claw has just said there's going to be a slight delay. We had a 30-second countdown, but now we don't. But I'll go through the setups anyway. We have Laconian Syndicate versus Kenzoku. Laconian Syndicate fielding 2 Vagabonds, 2 Curse, 1 Rook, 1 Lachesis, a Kitsune, and a Hugin. Quite the spread.
And for Kenzoku, we have 2 Raven Navy issues, 2 Standard Ravens, a Scimitar, 2 Crows, and a Malediction.
Oh. And the failure in this match has reached amazing levels. Not only has Laconian been disorganized enough to have to restructure their team right before they came, but they didn't count their points. So apparently they brought a Scimitar to the field, which is an important ship, and they were penalized that entire ship. So now they don't have a Scimitar. And also, Kenzoku was not able to keep almost half their pilots from moving before the match, so one of their Navy Ravens and both of their normal Ravens have been penalized half HP, which is half shield, armor, and structure HP all cut. But the match is finally underway, so they can actually move now if they want to.
Yes, it's difficult to see any damage at the moment because of the existing damage showing on the Kenzoku team. Okay, the Kitsune for the Laconian Syndicate has been primaried by Kenzoku and it has lost about 3/4 of its shields.
Yeah, also Laconian, both teams warped pretty far from the beacon. Laconian had 1 Vagabond that warped to 0, presumably by accident, but obviously they're fast enough, it doesn't matter too much. That Kitsune, dead now. Not much other damage really anywhere from what I can tell. One of the Crows taking some damage for Kenzoku, and Lachesis just barely a little shield damage for Laconian Syndicate.
Yeah, Kenzoku now lost that Crow, and there's some damage now on the Lachesis for Laconian Syndicate. Of course, the Scimitar on the Kenzoku side has now repped the Raven Navy issue and one of the normal Ravens, and is going to be obviously taking the rest of the shield damage off of the other Raven. Caldari ships, of course, being generally shield tanking, it won't affect them as badly as some of the buffer armor tanks for having been hill 50, because they've obviously been repped already.
Yeah, all of them almost full HP again. This Lachesis for Laconian Syndicate continuing to take damage, but the DPS must be fairly light coming out of the Kenzoku team, because he's still at about 50-40% shields. Taking damage fairly quickly, but not going down that fast, really.
Yeah, obviously they're firing a missile spam at him, and he's motoring along, and seems to be holding out reasonably well so far. His shield's dropping a bit again, and they've also seemed to, Kenzoku have now started shooting at one of the Rooks, well, the only Rook in fact on the Laconian Syndicate side, and he's now in half shields as well.
It looks like the Scimitar is the target. Oh, the Rook just went down. Laconian Syndicate really quickly lost their Rook, but they've got their DPS finally on the Scimitar for the Kenzoku team. Malediction taking damage now also. Kenzoku Malediction down. Kenzoku Scimitar at 30% armor and taking a lot of damage, being neutralized by the Laconian Curse, both curses actually. So his rep's not working at all. The Lachesis for Laconian Syndicate now through shields, and he was shield tank, so he's dead immediately once he entered armor. Scimitar dead immediately once he entered structure, so a lot of ships died really quick right there.
Yeah, they put lots of shield drones onto the Scimitar, but it wasn't enough, and Kenzoku have lost that, so they've lost their logistics, and it's now a matter of can the Vagabonds and the 2 Curses and the Hugin do enough damage whilst avoiding some of the missile spam from these Ravens.
Yeah, Curse is going to be the next target for the Kenzoku team, the Laconian Curse. He's about 10 or 20% shields down. I'm guessing he was shield tanked based on how slowly his shields went down per missile hit. Yeah, his armor went 50%, and his structure went 50%, and he's dead. So now just 2 Vagabonds, 1 Hugin, 1 Curse left for Laconian Syndicate. Still all 4 Ravens, both 2 Navy and 2 normal, along with a Crow left for Kenzoku. One of the Kenzoku Ravens, though, about 40% shields and not being repped fast enough to make up for the DPS.
Yeah, he's a metal man there from Kenzoku. He's been primaried. His shields are nearly gone. Obviously, he has bled slightly into armor on top of the hill 50 that he had for moving before the match started. The Curse obviously shield tanked again on the Laconian Syndicate side. That's just dropped. Obviously, the loss of their Scimitar is ruined their setup slightly. The obviously no reps on these buffer tanks, but the Kenzoku Raven has gone down, so we're looking for which is going to be the next target from Laconian.
Yeah, they've put their missiles. Whoa. The Hugin went down in one volley, basically. Before he even had taken damage, he disappeared, so he may have left yeah, he boundary violation is why. So more rule violations hurting Laconian Syndicate. Now just 2 Vagabonds left. One of those Raven Navy issues taking damage really fast from just 2 Vagabonds. He's below half shield and still taking damage. I think that with Scimitar here, it's likely that the Laconian Syndicate team would have won. Their ships really take damage fairly slowly. Their Vagabond's getting shot right now, and he's at about half shields. But honestly, he's taking shield damage slower than the Ravens are. So with a little repping there, they might have really done okay. That Raven, the Navy Raven now, last Starfighter for Kenzoku, is about 20% armor and half structure because of the shield 50, and that Vagabond for Laconian, about 10% shield now. Both taking damage pretty steadily.
Yeah, the Crow is currently target painting and might be, on the Kenzoku side, might be now tackling that Vagabond, which has just dropped through its shields like nothing else and gone completely. So we now have 1 Vagabond left for Laconian Syndicate versus 2 Raven Navy issues, 1 Raven and Crow for Kenzoku. And last Starfighter's Raven Navy issue may well die to this single Vagabond, because it doesn't look like his shields are repping at all.
Yeah, they have shield maintenance bots, which they were obviously hoping to use in conjunction with Scimitar that they lost. And no local reps at all. They do have invulnerability fields. He's taking damage. He's at about 10% structure, this Raven Navy issue, and if they destroy that, the Laconian team gets a lot of points for taking out these battleships. So it's definitely significant. The last Vagabond for Laconian Syndicate, 10% armor, or 10% shield, sorry, and there goes the Navy Ravens. So Kenzoku lose a CNR, lose a normal Raven, and a Vagabond down now. So the match is over. Kenzoku wins, but they only keep 2 battleships plus 1 Crow at the end of the match. Pretty wild match. You guys need to learn to follow the rules. It would have been maybe even closer. So back to you, Soundwave.